Catholicism by its nature is controversial. Today, more than ever, members of our society are not shy about expressing their discontent for the Catholic Church. Even among the youth of the Church, it seems disloyalty is growing rampant. While this newfound attitude towards Catholicism is common in our culture here in the 21st century United States, much of the world still embraces the Catholic faith and appreciates the beauty of the religion. For instance, in 1978, Africa had 55 million Catholics. By 2004, that number had risen to 149 million. In the last decade alone, Catholics in Africa have grown by 30%, despite massive evangelical campaigns from Protestant denominations in cities like Lagos, Nigeria. Catholics in Africa are very devoted as well. In almost any Catholic church in Africa on Sunday, so many faithful attend Mass that people spill out onto benches outside the front of the church. In the years between 2001 and 2006, the number of Catholic priests in South America increased by 7%, and in Africa the amount of priests increased by 19%. While the number of Catholic people has increased in the United States, the number of devoted Catholics has decreased. According to a Gallup poll in 1958, 3 out of 4 Catholics said they attend Mass once a week. A recent study done by Notre Dame University showed that only 1 out of every 4 Catholics still attends Mass. Half as many Catholics attend Mass in the United Kingdom as they did in the 1960s, and all throughout Europe it seems Catholicism is shrinking. All of this information begs the question, why is Catholicism growing in undeveloped regions of the world and shrinking in developed nations? What we must understand is that Catholicism is a deep and complicated religion. We will look at this and other characteristics of this religion in the second part of this film. The scriptural evidence we have of the link of the Catholic Church to Jesus Christ is present in the Gospel of Matthew in chapter 16. "But who do you say that I am?" Simon Peter said in reply, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." Jesus said to him in reply, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my heavenly Father. And so I say to you, you are Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of the netherworld shall not prevail against it. I will give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven." Jesus clearly stated that Peter is the rock of the church. Peter went on to become the first pope and was eventually martyred in Rome, the present-day capital of the Catholic Church. Peter was also an apostle, which makes the Catholic Church apostolic as well as Christ-based. One cannot study Catholicism without learning about the Eucharist. Many Christian denominations practice communion, but the Catholic Church is totally centered around it. The Catholic Church's teaching on the Eucharist is that Eucharistic bread and wine truly are the body and blood of Christ, and are not a symbolic representation of Christ. This is a great miracle and mystery of the Catholic faith. A Catholic service or Mass consists of 2 parts, the liturgy of the Word and the liturgy of the Eucharist. So the entire second half of the service is entirely dedicated to communion. Catholics have a deep reverence for the Eucharist, and the Catholic Church describes it as the center of Christianity. Another highly questioned belief of Catholics is belief in the saints. A saint is someone who is with God. The Church teaches that everyone in heaven is a saint, and we are all meant to be saints. There are many people who are saints, but have not yet been recognized by the Vatican. When Catholics pray to the saints, they are asking the saints to pray for them to God. Catholics do not in any way worship the saints. We simply ask them to pray for us. My third and final Catholic teaching that I feel is important to acknowledge is the Pope. There are a lot of misconceptions about the Pope. The first misconception is that papal authority is a man-made concept. The papacy was instituted by Jesus Christ in Peter's confession about Jesus in the Gospel. As I stated earlier, Jesus told Peter, "You are Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church." Another misconception is that Catholics believe the Pope is infallible. Catholics do not believe this. Catholics do believe the Pope can speak with infallibility, but only under three conditions. He must be speaking to the whole of the Church, he must be speaking about salvation, and he must say that he is speaking infallibly. The Pope has only officially exercised this power of infallible speech 2 times in the history of the Vatican. Catholics make up a large portion of the world. There are Catholics on every continent, but at times it seems we as Americans, in the most educated and cultured nation on this earth, are rather ignorant of this particular religion. In a survey done by Brian O'Toole in the Tallwood High School Global Studies and World Languages Academy, less than 50% of high school sophomores knew that Catholicism is a form of Christianity. There exist over 1 billion Catholics in this world, and I feel one cannot genuinely regard himself as a global citizen without having some basic knowledge of this world religion.